Justice me.
Money in the way for what they got to say. I throw it up, it's falling down, it's definitely in the way.
Welcome back, guys, to episode 8 of Chart Talk with Shake and myself. Shake's got his new mic and camera set up for all the
mic alert.
Everyone who was complaining. If you're happy about Shake's new mic, drop us a little thumbs up. To this video, we're going to go through the market outlook, chart members, member chart ideas of the week, good trade, bad trade, as well as the book of the week. Shake, you want to kick it off with the market outlook?
Yeah, so we had that huge Fed decision finally this week. We've been waiting around for this Fed meeting for months. It's been the biggest one in years. We did get the rate cut that we were looking for. However, Powell kind of spun it in a way so that he didn't give Trump exactly what he wants. The market really wanted to see a schedule of rate cuts. We didn't get that. We got one rate cut, and then he kind of said, we'll see how trade relations are and all that. So then the second he says that, Trump starts thinking, all right, I'm going to have to ramp the trade talks up. So then the following day, we get another 10% tariff on China, and we see the market sell off. Well, a thing that we did really well this week was Thursday. We saw that after that Fed decision, and the market sold off. We were at that huge resistance. There's such obvious resistance. It's so funny how technicals and the behavior of the market just work so well together. But it seems like we all went cash Thursday. Right after we saw that sell-off, I saved myself a lot of money by going cash right away. And then Friday, Trump put the tariffs on. Thursday, Trump put the tariffs on, and we just saw a continued sell-off for the rest of the week. So falling from that huge resistance level, we'll see when we get that turnaround. We're looking at, I'd say, the 290 level in the S&P is the first support area, then maybe 280, 10 points down. But overall, I think it's going to be a viable pullback. I don't think we're going to drastically like December lows or anything like that. But I think it's important to note that the Fed is responsible for a lot of market tops. The market top in November, December was right after the Fed meeting. So you kind of got to keep that in the back of your brain. So yeah, I'd say it's more of a risk-off environment until further notice. Be very selective out there. Tend to agree?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think even from like last week's video, I was like, I think this is the most buy stops that I've ever triggered like in the last few months.
Right.
And this week was the most break-even sell stops I've had in as many months. So I think that's a very telling sign.
Yeah, that's information in itself right there.
Yeah. It's same lines you're looking at, 290 in the SPY, 280, and then like 272. That's like that real line in the sand. And just like you said, I'm looking at the SPY too, going back in December, we had that same like little, sell-off the last Fed meeting. With that being said, though, we still had some crazy numbers this week. We had LaShawn put up 100K week. He took off today, great day to take off. Jordan had a 40K day. Adam obviously putting up 20K days pretty much every day. Gina had a 200K day, or 200% day, I'm sorry.
Yeah, beyond.
And beyond. Hunter Schultz also, he had 46% gain and beyond me. Captain Joe and Sparrow both had 10% weeks, and they both made about like $2,000 or $3,000 each. So given the fact that like I got a ton of stuff, like you were raising a ton of money, most of the members were raising cash. It wasn't like we were getting beat up or destroyed. We still put up like some very impressive numbers given the action of the market this past week.
I definitely agree. And I think we saved ourselves a lot of headaches being so quick to be like, all right, we're seeing this huge down move at this huge resistance level. We've had a great run. Let's just take profit and step to the side. And so I went cash. A lot of people went cash. And I just think we avoided a lot of downside, a lot of headaches, where it's like sometimes it's better to just sit there doing nothing than, drowning, losing money. So I think as a collective, we really nailed that sell-off and, didn't get hurt at all from it. And speaking of, so it's so funny, Gina getting that 200% in the Beyond Meat IPO, it's like, in hindsight, that trade is so obvious, not like obvious, but it's like we're seeing this paradigm shift where like veganism and all these other things are coming about. But it's great that Gina capitalized because she is hardcore into that life, into the plant-based lifestyle. So it's a stock that she knows she's going to use and she really capitalized on it. Like that's the way you should kind of look at trading. So she just did a great job with that. I looked at that stock, looked at it the whole rise up like, fuck, like it's so obvious now looking at, going into Whole Foods and stuff. But it's just funny to see. But great job on her part. 200% trade. Why not?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good week. I think if you like, we can jump into the member charts of the week.
Yeah.
We got Brian Trung, TGI through 25.5.
Wow, that's a really nice chart.
Little baseball.
So I love the earnings reaction, and I love how it stopped right underneath that on the first day. It stopped right underneath that 25.50, that huge level, and then the two consolidation days, just kind of letting the 8-day simple moving average catch up, consolidating, working off the overbought standards, but not pulling back. It shows the buyers are really strong and they're willing to pay these higher prices through that 25.50. I like that one a lot. Yeah, that's good. Huge base.
We got Lewis Stein looking at PAGS, PAGS through 45.46.
I think so. That one had a huge run up beforehand. You see, what was that? The May earnings that really blasted off out of that, and then went on this huge run, and it kind of broke down from that run in the beginning of last week. I see the consolidation he's looking at that he wants to capture the upside, but I think this move just had so much all the meat taken out of the move in that previous run up.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think this needs like a few weeks to base out, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. But definitely a good amount of time. I wouldn't touch this one yet.
Yeah, with you on that. We have Khan looking at BSX through 43.5.
Oh yeah,
43.5.
yeah, and it had a nice inside day. You can try to look in 43. This one was victim of the sell-off. This was a really strong name. We were looking at yesterday. A bunch of guys bought it yesterday, and then with that type of market action where it's just hardcore selling, you're very rarely are you going to see any names hold up. So this BSX still being within that range shows us that it's really strong. I like that 43.50 area. That looks really good.
Yeah, I like that too. Let's see. Next, we got Tom looking at Elon through 34.
It's fucking Elon. I hate this name. We've traded this name so many times to no avail. Through 34, I mean, it looks good. It's still within that, within that channel. Yeah. If it can consolidate and get up to that 34 area, it looks pretty good. Can't knock it at all.
All right. We got Matt G looking at HRL through 42.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Did they report earnings yet?
I think it's
end of August. So
yeah.
they got a lot of time. That one still looks good. Yeah, that's a beautiful base right there. That 42 number.
Let's see.
I like that a lot. Yeah.
He had another one, XEL through 62. So that would be like third time's a charm. It's already retested that area.
Yeah, that definitely looks good. It was weak today. It's going to need a bit of work to do to get back up to that 62. But by the time it gets back up there, it should consolidate pretty nicely if it does. And that would make a pretty attractive trade.
And then rounding off his last one, he had CMS through 59.
59.50. Yeah, looks good. Upper right bull flag, energy name, kind of safe haven in weak times. All makes sense. Really strong. Just had earnings. Yeah, that's a good looking chart.
Then we got E-Rich looking at EW through 216.
Yeah, we've been waiting on this EW. It's a great power earnings gap, and it's been consolidating nicely. That 8-day simple moving average finally caught up. It looks like it could be ready against that. Against those lows, and it held up so well in the sell-off. So actually factoring that in, yeah, this one looks good.
Let's see. We got Juan Pablo looking at FSLR through 67.
Solar. Wow, what an uptrend in that one. This looks. Oh, they had earnings yesterday. Looks like.
Yeah, August 1st.
That blow off top looks pretty good. Yeah, I mean through that 68 area, if you can get through that again. It definitely looks good against, I guess that 64-ish is support, kind of wide right now. Mm-hmm. But if it can consolidate, get a little tighter, I like it. I mean, within the last year, it's in its upper right corner. It's been pretty strong in that regard. Solars have been moving well, so, still makes sense.
If you zoom out like a couple of years, going back to like 2014, you can see like this 68, 72 area has been like that pretty big base. And
I forgot about that. We were focused on this, last April. Wow, time flies.
This reminds me a lot of like Shake Shack in 2018 through 40 and like 44. It's like it just took like so many years. And like when it finally went, you got like that super easy, it took a few months, but it was like a 30, 40 point move that I think Kyle Ross actually caught this one like perfectly. Because I remember I bought it, like we all bought Shake Shack.
Yeah. We all.
I remember he caught like the majority of the meat of that move. So it just looks very similar. Let's see. He's also got CHD through
Gerson Dwight, through what?
67. Hold on. I think he might have put the wrong price. Maybe.
77?
Maybe. I might have just typed it up wrong. That seems probably more what he's looking at.
So, if he can get up there, yeah, I'm wondering if he's looking at this for a support buy, if he's looking at it for in time through a breakout. Right now, it's holding. What is that? Right now, it's holding the 50-day moving average, which is like a very important moving average to swing traders. So and it had the inside day 2 days after earnings, but it's still holding support. So if Monday, if you wanted to use that inside day looking for a support buy, I could understand that trade a lot through that 75 area.
Yeah.
But I mean, also you factor in this environment where we just saw the market, which could have been a possible top. So it's not. I'm not dying to put risk on and like B set up support plays. So I'd probably pass this up for that reason. If we were in a better market, this could be a great setup. But for now, you have to be super selective, I think. So
yeah, I actually took this name twice since May. Like verse 72, I was like buying 74. They both were break-even trades. Like I didn't really catch much in it. But yeah, I'm with you. It's it's still flagging up there. It's still home of 72, but there's definitely better things out there.
right.
Let's see, Adam Chatty looking at a couple things. Let's see, we got AN through 50.
This one had came out of the crazy run on earnings. What was that? 2 weeks ago. This one needs so much time to give a setup. I think like a month or two. This is like, so people were asking about band back in the day, right when it made this run, and they were asking about 72 like the week after. And it just wasn't ready yet. It needed a ton of time. Now it looks good because it worked off that. That would be the type of consolidation I'll look for before entering.
Yeah, I think actually Nick Neff just dropped this band in like the alpha chat right after the close. He was looking at it too, through that 80.
He bought this one at 40. So I remember we were looking at this one right after this quarter, February, and I didn't take the trade. I don't know if not many people took the trade, but he did. And since he, the blessing for him, because he can't look at the intraday and he has to just be a pure swing trader, have wide stops. He caught this entire move and made like 75% in band. So I know it's one of his best names. But yeah, he did really well with it and it started looking good again. Oh shit.
Don't break the new mic.
Oh my God. You had one job. All right. Oh no.
All right, so I think we wrapped up all the member ideas for the week.
Right.
We can jump in a good trade, bad trade.
Yeah, for sure. I'll start. So I wasn't very active this week. I took a lot of day trades and then I kind of just took profit in my swing trades. Because last week, we got that gift of Friday. We were talking about all chart talk, how it was such a gift we got this Friday to sell into. And now in hindsight, how much of a gift is that Friday, right? So it's like I took a lot of profit. I wasn't very active this week. So I only really traded opening range breakouts in earnings names. I took 4. I went 2 and 2. I lost 2K twice and I made 6K twice. So it's like I only had a 50%, I only had a 50% rate, but because I had the numbers on my side of the risk reward, I was able to pull 8K out of 50% trading. That's so I've had a lot of members coming up to me like, I'm not going to take opening range breakouts anymore, and it's fine. Like that's not a trade for you. But if you know to expect out of a trade, if you're quickly setting your stops, if you're getting the right entry, you're getting these 2 and 3 to 1 kicks off, and then maybe holding some for if we get like a crazy move like we got Roku last quarter. I think it's like one of the best fast trades out there where we saw, for example, the market sell off horribly today, and this Pinterest. I didn't take this Pinterest, but a lot of people did take this pins, and it stayed strong 90% of the day, and now it looks so good going forward through 35. And you're really only getting that opportunity pretty much off the open. So it's definitely geared towards the active traders, but I think there's just so much opportunity from a risk reward standpoint. So the 4 I took in this CHGG, this Chegg opening range. I bought that 48. You see that level on the daily. It's been a strong name, strong software name. So they had a great quarter, so that made sense to me to get involved. Adam Rapp called out the Shopify yesterday. This was awesome. Absolute market leader, ramping up sales still. It's like another great quarter out of them. And then the 2 losers I took were in, what were they in? This Tandem today. I took a loss of this Tandem today. So my thinking behind this, they had a great quarter numbers-wise. So we've been staring at this tandem, this huge flag forever, right? We've tried it so many times to no avail. It hasn't really broken. So I lost like $2 on this name. I bought this like 67 area. I didn't kick it to 70. Hindsight, heaven was calling out the kick. I wanted more. I wanted 71, 72 kick. But if this name wants to break this flag on earnings with that type of catalyst, and I can get a $2 stop where it's been in this flag for months and months, the risk reward there and the opportunity is so great that I'm taking that trade every time. Yeah, I took the loss today and it sucks, but overall, it's worth it to me, as we saw by the numbers. And the last one was this CDAY, the C-Day. It was like another one where we were waiting on this flag forever. Beautiful flag. It looks amazing on the daily. And I took a loss because that day one didn't work out. I'll definitely buy it again through 54 next time. But even if, and what you're going for is you're going for these quick 3-to-1 kicks, and then to maybe have stock for a crazy move, so we can get if something like Roku happens, that makes your entire month.
Yeah.
So that's really all I did this weekend. I took profit in myocardia. That was a nice little swing. But overall, just like these opening range breakouts, I think if you're selective and you're focusing on names that had big quarters and they've been hot names, like hot software names, or like the Shopify has been the best name all quarter, so it makes sense if that has another great quarter of earnings, the buying is going to come back. So I think if you're selective in those opening range breakouts and you keep the math on your side, you get those 3-to-1 winners. I just think it's a really profitable trade, quick trade off the open, from a day trading aspect, when there's not so much going on from a swing trading standpoint when we just come off highs like that. So what you got for me?
I guess, like you, I didn't really do much this week, again, other than getting stopped out of a ton of names, but most were break even. Good trade was definitely this DFS. And again, of course, in hindsight, like I sold some, what was it, July 25th. Literally I had like a low a day stop. It was like 91.45, I'll call it. So I took off like a bunch then, and then I had like a stop below like 90. And given that it's such a good price, I didn't want to like give away a lot of this stock, because it just, it's all, it's new all-time highs. But I was like, it's just another trade. I don't really, I don't want to get married to it, or like, whatever. So I took some off, and I still have a little bit that I'm willing to give back to my cost. But that was really probably just the only good trade in hindsight, because I did book most of it pretty much near the top. I had some crazy lucky stop outs. PRU, again, it was earnings was coming out 2 days ago, so I sold the day before. I bought 103, I sold 102, lost like $1 in it, and thing got destroyed.
Holy shit!
Like, murdered. Another crazy one was BBY. That one, same thing. I bought up through 74, got stopped at 76, and then we had that tariff news come out, and Best Buy got really banged up on that one. So some of it were like the technicals on our side, just keeping low day stop, keeping it simple, and avoiding losing 8 points or 6 points in a day in Best Buy, where I'll buy this thing back above 70. I can care less because I haven't lost money in it. Versus like the guy who just said it, just buying and hoping. It's like you're getting beat up left and right. I think bad trade was probably like this Voya. And again, I bought 55 end of June, like June 20th. I bought again when it went to like July 1st, sold a little bit like into this pop, and it was just flagging. And I like added higher, which I liked the dollar cost average higher, but it wasn't really like an ad that I normally would have done. Like it was,
it's not like a super feisty level or anything.
It was like a Mickey Mouse flag, and I was just like, I sold something, buy it back, and again, I got stopped out through 55, like break even, but I had like that higher ad. That's really kind of what I was like a little annoyed about, because it was something I would have normally done, but it was just everything was kind of triggering last week, so I was like, fuck it, why not?
Right.
So that was kind of what I was a little annoyed about. But other than that, pretty much this week, for as bad as the market was, and given that I probably came in the week with 20 positions, and I probably have like 5 or 6 on now, of those 15, I maybe lost a little bit of money in Voya. I lost a little bit of money in that WDF, at the WD-40. And then the other like 15 or so names, they pretty much were all break even. So I can't really be too bummed about that. I just raised like a ton of cash. So if we do continue to pull back, I'm sitting pretty. I don't really care. And if next week is great, I still have some buy stops in if they go, even better. So it was definitely a very light week.
I think on a week like this, if you can kind of get out unscathed or make money, it's like even if you do like pretty much flat, I think that's a huge win in and of itself.
Yeah.
Because we've been on such a huge swing trading win, like a huge run, and then we come down and we have these weeks. Usually, a lot of people guys get back 5, 10%, 20% of a run just on this quick down move because they're not ready for it. But we were so ready taking profit, and we were very cautious at highs. So now, like the hindsight of us being like, oh, selling to the strength, I think that's a huge win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm with that. For top ideas of the week, again, mine mostly is going to be cash, sitting on hands. The only thing I really do like that held up well was this KMB. The market's got pretty banged up the last couple of days, and it's, I had one down day, but it's still inside this flag. Like it hasn't really broke that support of 133. So that's something I'll still buy 138. I'll still buy 140. That I really like going into the week. Other than that, definitely being patient and letting a lot of these names kind of settle out because there's definitely been a lot of damage broadly, so we can find some sick deals, but it does take time.
Right. I'm definitely going to be watching for the market turn. I'm not going to be super risk on. I do have my eye on a few names. Like I mentioned, the CDAY. Now, it just has that 54 level we've been looking on forever. It had the blow off top in earnings, just wasn't ready, but it held up so well last 2 days. I'm looking at that one through 54. This DHI, Dr. Hortons, it's a really, really nice base in this. It's right here in this 47 area. It's just kind of consolidating after earnings now, kind of letting moving averages catch up. I think that'll be good in time. And then our boy Chris left us to go study for his master's, but he still hit me with charts on the side. He mentioned to me this DQ. Look at this DQ. It's an energy name, but that is such a beautiful flag. This one looks so ready through that 45, 50, 46 area. Love that chart. And then just names I'll be watching this quarter. I think Twitter and I think Google had great quarters ahead of them. Google had a blow-up quarter and it's just been pulling back. Had a huge gap, huge move, and just pulling back. I think you got to watch that one for the turn. I think that one is going to give a great trade this quarter.
I like that. I feel like that Twitter, it's just like that race back to like that retest, like back to 58.
It's finally ready. It worked it all off. Power earnings gap on earnings has been one of the strongest names in the market. We had 3 really ugly days, and you wouldn't know looking at this Twitter. So that's usually a sign that it wants to move higher,
Yeah, I like that a lot. You want to jump into the book of the week?
Yeah, you can start.
All right. So I'm still doing, this month I read like 6-7 books. I slowed down a little bit. I'm still on this dollar and cents, but I got to like it was a pretty good story. And I think it's very relative where, again, this book goes over just how we just make mistakes with money. And we just kind of spend it in weird ways. And they give an example of this guy who was like a locksmith. And he would say when he first started his career, he would go and fix someone's lock. He would pretty much destroy the lock. He didn't know what he was doing. So he would break the lock. He'd have to replace it. And then basically charge the customer like $400 or $500, and it would take him 2-3 hours. And the customer was always like ecstatic because it took so long for it to get repaired. But then as he got proficient, he got good. It would take him 2 minutes to open a door, and it'd be $200. And then the customer would be like fuming because like it took you 2 seconds.
Right.
Bullshit. Da, da, da. So it was like all that hard work and the hard work and time that put into like honing his craft. It's like he should get paid more for that, but the person just like gets annoyed. And I think that's like a very relevant lesson. I think even like when you go to like the auto body shop, if the guy fixes your car in a day, you're like, why is this bill $5,000? But it takes him a month. You're like, you think he did this much of a better job.
Right.
So that was like a very good lesson because we see it on our end where people are like, why do we have to pay you guys to learn? We can just buy this in stock cheap buy. And it's like, okay, yeah, you can buy Twitter with us through 44, but when are you going to sell it? Or why are you going to sell at 48? Why are you going to get out break even? So it was definitely a very relevant lesson. But yeah, I should be done with this book hopefully in a couple of days, and then by next week I'll have another.
Yeah, geez, give us something new. You give us the same shit back to back. Fucking brutal, Mr. 52 books in a year. Fucking can't do a book a week.
So I was talking to Gus, and Gus is actually on book 47 this year. And I'm
making you look like shit. Yeah.
I'm 29. I'm like, I gotta speed this up. I'm like, what is this guy doing? He's getting 47 books done. But shout out to Gus, killing it.
Yeah, it's funny. My turn.
What's that?
My turn.
Yeah, it's your turn.
Okay, my book of the week, Market Mind Games by Denise Shull. Ariely hit me up and showed me this lady. She's an amazing market psychologist, the story of Wendy Rhodes and Billions is actually based on her and based on this book. And she's actually suing Billions for kind of copying her story, and having Wendy Rhodes' character just be based on this book. It's funny. I didn't realize that. I looked into it. But the book, what it's essentially about is, we always talk about in trading how you're not supposed to use your emotions. You're supposed to be emotionless. And this kind of puts a spin on it where it's like you want to use your emotions. I'm not fully through the book, so I still have a lot of reading to do. But I would say, direct parallel where we use this is we have a high five sell signal. And that's like, I'm so elated that the stock is doing well. I want to give my buddy a high five. That's a sign that you take profit. It's kind of using emotions in that sense where you recognize how you're feeling in certain situations where you can, really improve your trading. If sometimes I start over trading and I get manic, I feel this, and then I do this, and then I do this. It's kind of like digging into yourself to figure out, what makes you tick, and that's how you're going to become the best trader. So it's a very interesting perspective on trading psychology. I like it a lot so far. I got to finish it, but definitely highly recommend it.
I literally just ordered it as you were explaining that.
There you go.
But I think even like going up the high five sell signal, I feel like even in the alpha chat, we know like when it's like a really bad day in the market, it's like very quiet in the chat. Like you'll almost joke like, hello, it's like anyone out there. And then when the market's booming, it'll be 9 o'clock or 9:30 and there's 300 messages going off. And those tells where sometimes when it is very quiet, that's usually when the market is starting to turn and we can start to find those deals. But it's almost looks like using the chat, to that advantage. Like
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, love it. And sometimes you have the days too where we start seeing people throw their P&Ls up 30 minutes off the open, and then we just start like take profit. Like everyone just high five each other, throwing up the fucking crazy P&Ls. And then, because we used to see that so much at the trading firm, we'd be high fiving each other at the end of the day, and then at the end of the day, we would call it the morgue. Everyone would be fucking, the fucking morgue in here. So that just comes from trading experience. It's so funny how you can get so much information out of using the chat room's emotions and people's emotions to your advantage.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So okay, I think we wrapped it up.
Wrap it up.
But yeah, all right, guys. If you're still here and you haven't gave a thumbs up, you are the worst. All right. Till next week.
Signing off.
See you next week, guys.